but I still encourage you na to join our class, no, kasi of course no live discussion and lahi ra man gyud basta recording kay mura kag tanaw movie. Okay, so yeah, it's supposed to be for this meeting as you can see no sa description natin that we're supposed to discuss a lot of things, right? Which is the properties of fluids, pressure, Boyle's law, hydrostatic, and buoyancy. Now, I will leave na lang sa inyo yung properties of fluids, pressure, Boyle's law. Kamo na lang anak, based on formulas na ba na. Okay, diretso na lang ko sa hydrostatic forces. Okay, okay, isa sa mga issue no sa pag-solve ani is actually the statics kaning mga forces. Basta mag-deal na ganitag forces no kay kana maglambad na tong ulo kana mag-deal na tag statics niya nana kanang summation of forces y is equivalent to 0 or summation of x is equivalent to 0, wala magrigor na tong utok. Okay? And of course, we don't want that to happen. Tama, di ba? Okay. Now for tonight, basic lang gid ako i-discuss no. Okay. Let's start with this one. By the way, I'll be utilizing no the the MathCAD and as well as our application no sa sa calculator. Okay, so unsa may dapat ninyong ma-learn okay sa plane surfaces na I'm sorry for the logo no jersey ako ra nag-utilize mo man yung gigamit pod sa among review, so para din ako maghimo pod. Wala ko ga-promote og review center ha, pero kung mo-review mo sa among review center okay ra gyapon. Anyway, ay kapoy naman ba mo man yung subject yan. Anyway, let's have this one. When we encounter the first time that we encounter the forces no I think na ang una natong nakita ato makita ra ba ninyo MathCAD no. Okay ra no. Okay, di ba mao ni sa nga to makita kanang force is equivalent to gamma times the value of h, di ba, times the h at the center of the gravity times the area. Usually mo gini ato makita guys no sa mga review books. Now I am discouraging you to use this formula. Nganuman, you will be limited. Malimitahan ka nganuman because that formula is only good for one liquid. All right? One liquid. What if you have multiple layers of liquid? Unsa may mong buhaton? Ay kuy na mag-bridging ka. O dili na pwede, di ba? Okay, we cannot do that one. But instead, no, since we know there are two formulas sa pressure, which is pressure is equivalent to gamma times dH, right? No, mao ni siya, di ba? Gamma times dH, and the other formula sa pressure is equivalent to force over area. These are the two formulas, but considering this formula, okay, it is much kabalo man tanong these are the two formulas for the pressure, but take note that sa kaninga formula unsa may naani actually this particular formula takes in the form of this. Kung ato ni siyang i-rearrange mura ra pud na siya ningon kag force is equivalent to pressure times the area. Therefore, since we are actually after with the pressure at the center of the gravity, kani siya nga part guys, ako lang emphasize no ako lang move back. Okay. That the force there can be described as this, right? Gamma times the HCG times the area, where this particular, ako na siyang separate to emphasize, no? Where the gamma times the HCG there is actually for the pressure. Unsa na nga pressure? Kaya may pressure, asa ka mo calculate, asa ka mo pressure. That is actually the pressure at the center of the gravity times the area. Okay, so thus you have this formula. Okay, kaning PCG times the area. So I think no, this is more advantageous in our case no kay nganuman usa ra man gud atong mindset. Ang atorang gusto makuha is unsay pressure at the center of the gravity. Mura mo ginatong gusto makuha pressure at the center of the gravity. Wala nay line, di ba? Okay, now knowing that nga kinahanglan nato no nga makuha ta na before I'll continue, kaya ako sa nikuan, aris ako sa kuan sa diagram. Okay, probably no, nakita na po ninyo. Okay, now say for example, we have a plane surfaces. We have a plane surface here that is inclined, all right? We have a plane surface that is inclined, and sa kaning nga plane surface by, okay, natay center of the gravity din ha. And it is nalubog ni siya sa at a particular depth, no? And it is inclined at a certain tawag na to, inclination, which is the theta here. Mo man siya, no? All right? So the center of the gravity, kani siyang center of the gravity, kani siya, whatever the orientation na sa plane surfaces, kung mo ni sa ako ang mo ni sa akong plane, di man makita. All right? So kung mo na sa akong plane, kung mo na akong plane, guys, so this is the center of the gravity, right? This is the center of the gravity. Ang imong HCG, balikon to nako nga formula, so to tarakan eh. Okay? This is actually the vertical distance. Ako lang i-note, no? Indot man i-note. HCG here is actually the vertical distance. Vertical distance or the vertical or the location. Ako na ng space na. Sorry. Distance or the location at the center, CG lang, at the center of the gravity. So please remember this one, that your HCG here is your vertical distance. Okay? So kung asam na si vertical distance, mo ni siya, center of the gravity, ito yung HCG natin. Alright? Now, we need also to locate the center of pressure. Now, take note, lahi na ang center of the gravity, lahi po na ang center of pressure. Because the center of pressure, that is actually the location of the force. Okay, punta na to. Okay. Center of pressure is the location of the force. Right? Center of pressure is the location of the force. So please take note of that. So, kinahanglan ninyo masabtan nga every time that you're gonna solve for the location, kani man nimong gamiton nga formula, di ba? Okay, unsa may mong gina-solve din he? When you use this formula, you're actually solving for the eccentricity. So take note of that. Okay, you're actually solving for the eccentricity there, and with the eccentricity, the eccentricity that is actually the distance of what? From the center of the gravity to the center of pressure. Now, kinahanglan na to nga masabtan, okay, kinahanglan na to nga makuha na to yung location, because later on we're going to apply statics. When you say statics, you're gonna consider the three equations, di ba? Yung summation of forces vertical, summation of forces horizontal, and summation of moments. And particularly sa summation of moments, where moment arm is really a requirement, no, para makasolve kag kuan, para mapurma nimong equation niya. So if moment arm is required, then the location is also required. Okay, so thus importante na to masabtan ang center pressure. Now, also guys, this is how you're gonna solve this one, and I'm sure you're familiar with this one, kaning inertia over area times the bar duay. Ang inertia, oy, kanaha, sa tagani kaning inertia, dili na ni bago sa to dapat kinaon na ni nato, no? Okay? Ang area, of course, kung di pa kibawan ni mangutan lagi ko nganong nakapasa ka sa geometry nimo. Okay? So area no problem, but si bar duay. Si bar duay, ari ko mo settle ni bar duay. Now, si bar duay here is actually the location. Location po ni siya. Okay? Butanan ako, no, YCG man na, no, or bar duay or YCG is actually the location, okay, location gyapon ni siya of the center of the gravity. Okay, so kung imo ni siyang tanawon, okay, asa man na si YCG, tara, si YC, no, si YC mo ni siya. Okay, that's the location, but magdepende ni siya, I don't know, makita ba ninyo, no, but this is actually the distance here. Basta naka-incline na siya. If ang imong plane naka-incline gani, then naka-incline po si YC nimo. But take note sa si HC nimo, vertical distance gina siya. Alright? Vertical distance gina si HC, but si YC is actually your dependent na siya sa orientation sa imong plane. Alright? So in other words, that the YCGDI mo depende. Okay, ako na lang sa iyo na, mo depende din ni siya sa imuhang positioning sa imong plane. Now, nga naman, if you look at this one, kaning barred y is equivalent to barred h over sine theta, that is actually a formula, not actually a formula, but that is actually considering a form of triangle. Okay? So, kana nga triangle ba, no? Mo ni mong barred h, nya mo ni mo ang barred y, kani siya, and the theta there mo ni mo gigamit. Alright? Now, what will happen, okay? What will happen if your theta, tubutan ano? And what will happen if your theta is 90 degrees? Meaning to say, if the theta here is perfectly vertical, 90 degrees man gina, what will happen to your equation? Diba? Kabalo man gita, no? Sine theta. Alright? Sine theta, that is equivalent to 1. So if that is equivalent to the 1, meaning to say, yung YCG natin is equivalent to HCG pala. That is if you have a vertical plane. Alright? Meaning to say, kung naalang kay kung naka-incline lang ang imong plane, guys, considering this equation, you don't have to worry, no? Pwede ra po ninyo memorize on, pwede ra po ninyo dili i-memorize, okay? But kanisa, okay nisa. Now, sir, what if, sir, if I have multiple layers of liquid? Kana diha ang problema. Okay, kay dili man ka pwede makapataka ano nga imong i-convert ang inclined distance. No. That would be a different scenario, but at least no, you have a general setup sa isa ka equation, which is the barred y is equivalent to barred h over sine theta nato. Okay? So with that, sa kanisa nga formula, okay, kani familiar na, dili na lang ko mo derive niya. I think okay na ta para mag problem solving. Kay mora mo gid atong gian ni Henry, no? Mamita nga nag-review ta. Alright, pasensyain na ninyo nga na ni Jertsy, no? Again, no, wala ko nag-promote, pero kung ganahan mo review, okay kayo. Anyway, let's have this problem. Okay, plane surfaces, no? Kani problem number 1. You can take a screenshot, no? Pwede ninyo i-screenshot, pwede po mo copy. But anyway, this is just recorded man sad. Okay? So, every now and then, no, pwede nato siya ma-access. Okay? By the way, why do we use MS Teams? Kay isa man guni siya sa ginagamit ni Brightspace. Okay? Si Brightspace mo na itong bagong LMS, not the Adelante LMS, no? Or the Moodle. Okay? So, muna sa itong ginagamit. Alright. So, what do we have here? A rectangular gate, 1.2 meters wide, rest. So, natay width, no, 1.2 meters wide. Now, it is hinged at B. So, take note, it is hinged at B, located 5.2 meters below the water surface. Now, if A is 2.92 meters to the right of B, so naadite distance there, no? If A is 2.92 meters to the right of B, so 2.92, and B, 2.2 meters above B. Sorry, A ni siya A. Right? So, naatay 2.92 and naatay 2.2 din eh. Alright, so may gusto na ito makuha. Now, we want to calculate the force on the gate, the total force, no? Due to the water pressure, seawater, take note of that. And we want to know also the horizontal force exerted by the wall at the point A. And lastly, the reaction at B. Okay. So overall, how many reactions do we have, DI? Okay, so if we are going to consider this one, right? So ang una na itong buhaton na ni Bay, since the first question here is to determine the total force, ako na lang ni siyang in-drawing, no? Maka-annotate ba po? Ano? Okay, kanina lang. Alright. Okay. Sinsya na gina. Hiwi gina kong kuhaan kamot. O basta agoy. Matag masabtan ninyo. Maala 2.2 na siya. That is 2.2. Alright? Sige na lang. Maala. Basta 2.2 na siya. Paminaw na lang yun mo. Okay. Now, take note, guys, that we are after with the force here. Ako lang sa edit, ha? Okay, para limpyo po datong pag-solve, ba? Ilang ko ganahan niya, no? Okay, ako lang mukhaon. Okay. So, ako lang balik, guys. Alright? So, reta. Now, for the solution, di ba? Take note, guys, that we are after ko na lagi ni Rison, no? Kimati, agib na ako dito. Alright. Maratag ko na ni wala kibaw sulat ba? I'm just using my mouse, no? Sige lang, sige lang. Anyway, take note, guys, that we are after with the resultant force. Okay. Now, when you calculate for the resultant force, okay, ako na ni Erison, ha? Okay. When you calculate for the resultant force, it doesn't mean no nga kinahanglan pagid ta mo calculate of F horizontal and F vertical. Okay? Why, sir? Di ba naka-incline man na siya? Sir, di ba dapat naatay vertical, naaputay horizontal force na component? Yes, of course. We know the reality that there is component. But, since we are dealing with koan, since we are dealing with plane surfaces, we have the luxury not to do that anymore. Nga naman, because the formula force is equivalent to PCG times the area, whatever the orientation there, mapa-incline or mapa-vertical, you can actually apply that one. Okay, you can actually apply that one. All right. So with this formula, okay, with this formula, no, try it. Ako lang ni Irisa na, and let us solve the problem here. So take note, guys, meron tayong given, no? Given yung depth, overall depth ng water natin, depth ng water. Okay, overall H na lang. Papangalanan ko siya ng H. That is 5.2 meters. Okay, that's the 5.2 meters here. And di ba we have the depth of water sa A. Okay, depth of water ng A natin. And that is equivalent to, di ba, to, alam mo yun? Limutan ko. Let me check once again. Okay, it is, no, wala din. Kuha naman din, no? So ito gani. The distances, right? Ako lang ikuha na. We have the component, we have the horizontal distance, distance horizontal, diba? It is 2.92 meters. Then distance vertical, no, which is 2.2 meters above. Alright? So with that one, kung atong paano, no, balik ko na, mo to si horizontal, mo to siya si vertical. Alright? So balik ko lang na ako din, guys. Alright. So, and also take note, no, that we have the unit weight of our seawater. Isa sa mga common mistakes sa mga students, no, when they try to solve a simple problem as this, that they actually forgot, no, nga, basta seawater, usually, the seawater has a unit weight of 10 kilonewtons per cubic meter or a specific gravity ng seawater that is 1.03. So please take note of that, right? So 1.03 na siya. So I'm just running down on the given. Agaran down ako sa given, no? Okay, arin na dito na tayo sa solution natin. Okay, now for part 1, di ba we want to calculate the resultant force, okay? When you say resultant force, you want to calculate for the, not necessarily, no, baka kasi ito yung isipin nyo, no, na F horizontal squared, okay, plus F vertical squared, right? Hindi, pwede to, pero there's a meron tayong quickest way. Kasi, since we are dealing with plane surfaces, we have the luxury to use this one. And that is, force is equivalent to pressure at the center of the gravity times the area lang. Ganun lang ka-simple, alright? So, with this, if you're gonna use this one, the component method, pwede ragyapon, pero let me tell you no, kapoy-kapoy ragig ka. Okay? So, in dealing with plane surfaces, ayun na ni siya gamita. Pwede ragig ka mo gamit when you are asked to calculate for the resultant force. Alright? So, una tayo dito sa pressure, or sa area mismo. Okay? Now, take note, guys, na mo na siyang center of gravity, na mo na siyang 3.66, di ba? And this is the HCG. Tama no? 3 point. Asa mo ng 3.66, sir? Sorry, nag-advance ko, no? Okay. The 3.66 there, nakuha na to na ang length niya. So, eto no? That is the distance horizontal squared, diba? Plus the distance vertical squared. Nakuha na to ang 3.66 diha. Okay, so with that, pwede na tayo makakalculate sa area nga naman because given also in the problem the width. So the width na to 1.2 meters. So calculating, okay, so calculating for the area, that is length times the width, you'll be able to get there the area. Okay, the area naman, that is length, no? Length times the width, 4.39 m squared. By the way, I'm using the math kada. Once you have that value, na kay area ha. Okay, area magiging mo gusto ko ano. So na kay area, let us now proceed with the pressure at the center of the gravity. Now, how are we going to deal with this one? Now, take note that we have only one liquid. So, mana din ka, unit weight of seawater lang na siya, where the unit weight of seawater is 10 kilonewtons per cubic meter lang na siya. Okay, so, kung sa may sunod na ito, ato ni siyang i-multiply sa HCG. Now, ang pangutana, pilay distance ani. Di ba? Mana si question, no? Pilay distance na. Actually, you don't have to worry. Kaya nga naman, naman tayo overall distance, which is 5.2. So, mayroon siya nga H. Pwede ito mayroon ng H. And that is actually the 5.2 there. Ato lang i-subtract. Di ba? Subtract lang ta. And let us get this particular distance, this vertical distance. And that is actually, no, kung makita ninyo ba, opposite, no? Half of 3.66, di ba? Half of 3.66 ni siya. So, over 2 na siya, no? So, half of 3.6 is mo, na ko 0.5 times, kaya na mo kay half. So, mo na ko, 3.66 times, kay gi-half naman ako siya, sine, di ba? Kay because, wala pa di ko theta. Sakto. So, kuwang pa ko. Dili pa ko makaproceed kay wakang ko inclination, di ba? So, I need the inclination di ay. Alright. So, solving for the theta. Arita sa theta, no? Okay, so man na pag-solve si theta? Simple lang na ba? Arctangent lang na. Okay? Arctangent of the depth sa horizontal. Excuse me. Ito ko si Paul. Sorry for that. Vertical, dili to ko bila. Horizontal, no? And, arctan. Tatak. Okay, and i-convert na ko into degrees. Nana ko yung kuhan. So, tagani, nana ko yung theta. So, I'm gonna use that theta para to calculate, no, sa pressure sa center of the gravity. So, that would be unit weight of the seawater multiplied H minus, half, no? That is 3.66 times sine of theta. Okay, yeah, this is over 2. Okay. Uy. Anong 3? Sorry. Dili ni siya. L ni siya dapat. So wala nang puwa. Take note that the L there has a units of 3.66 meters. Manang value ni L, no? So pressure at the center of the gravity is 41 kilopascal. So ato lang i-check, guys, so naana ko'y pressure at the center of the gravity, naana po ko'y area, o makasolve na ko ni force. That is pressure at the center of the gravity, pressure at the center of the gravity times the area, then I'll have this answer. Okay? So muna akong resultant ba? Lang. Okay? Sir, medyo taas lagi kayo, no? Kung taas kayo because, it is because, no, okay, we are dealing actually with, we're actually dealing with the geometry. Mo lang po yung maka-challenging. But if you look at, no, if you come to think about it, okay, ang inyo rin gibuhat ba, inyo rin gi-account kung sa'y pressure at the center of the gravity. Nangutan na kasi mo kagalingon. Kung sa may pressure at the center of the gravity. Unsa ang itong pag-solve? Vertical distance lang yan. Unsa to unit weight nga nag-surround sa object. And ang area, ang pag-calculate sa area, referring to the plane submerged as also. Okay? Dili pod pwede nga mingon ka nga, kasi tawag ni, dili pod pwede nga mingon ka nga, ay, ang atong i-consider kay kani apilon po din nato kani siya nga part. No, dili. Katulang area nga focus nimo. Okay? So I hope you understand that one very well. Alright? So with that one, sa part 2 ta. Arita sa part number 2. Kaning dot ni. So part number 2, we want to solve for, ako lang po di-edit na dahil, para din na tama solve. Ito ini-delete. Okay. Wait lang ha. Okay. Excuse me. Allergy. Anyway, ano ta? Balik ko ha. So next, solution. Wait lang. Alright. Okay, balik na din na. Okay. So ang gusto nato na is to solve for the reaction at A. Now, how do we solve for the reaction at A, DI? Okay. So if you look at that one, so atong i-apply ang ato ang static nga principle ha. Okay, dili pwede no nga magmata-mata ta niya or feel lang ko na formula na. Uy, walay formula. Ang formula na equilibrium, di ba? The principle sa equilibrium. Okay, so that being said, if we are to calculate the reaction at A, muna itong buhaton. Summation ta. Asa ta mag-summation? Summation of moments at point B, which is equivalent to 0. And take note that we are dealing with, we are solving the reaction at A. Alright? So, muna itong gusto ba? Okay, summation of moments at B, which is equivalent to 0. Okay? So, with that one, maging mo equation. Saan na itong equation na ni? Muna din ta. Reaction at A. Okay, reaction at A, ato ni siyang i-multiply sa iya ang moment arm. So may moment arm niya. It is actually no the length which is na-calculate na to na katong 3.66 meters, di ba? The projected distance here, which is L, di ba? L times the sine of theta. Asa ta nagkuha theta gani? Nagkuha tag theta no, nasolve na to ang theta from here, di ba? Kay given ba to ang horizontal distance na to, given po to ato ang vertical distance, right? So with that one, pwede po no, is equivalent to, okay? Is equivalent to, kimora man isang force no. Ang opposite ni mga force is the clockwise ng end. Okay, so in this case no, mo ni siya of force times the moment arm, buta na to no, distance YP. Now, asa detect distance YP ani? Now, the distance YP will be reckoned from the center of, the center na nun, at the point B to the center of pressure. Okay. Now, unsaon na to siya pag-solve? Simple na ba eh. Masolve na to ang YP if we can solve for the eccentricity. So, magbuhat ang formula daan ha. YP, okay, YP is equivalent to, buhatan to ha, that would be half, sorry, isa, may kong ring half of kuan sa half, okay, we're focusing na at the center big gravity ba ya? Okay? Okay, half of, tama no? Tama no? Alright, wait lang. Alright, wait lang ha. Okay. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Okay. So, sana nga tayo. Alright, balik tayo dito. Okay, now we want to calculate no for the ano tawag na to? We want to calculate no for the distance yp. So how are we going to do that? We're going to get the half of the length there. Kana siya. Okay, L length naman ng 3.66 no. I-divide na to sa 2 tapos i-subtract na to ang eccentricity. Now knowing that na involved na si eccentricity ha. Okay, isa man ni sa moment r no. Yung tanaw na natay length. Diri na to nakuha atong length no. Ang atong eccentricity, right? Ang atong eccentricity shall be calculated through this formula. Eccentricity is equivalent to inertia over area times the word y na to. Okay? Alright. So eccentricity is equal to inertia over area times the y na to. Now, inertia, no problem. We can calculate this one easily. Ato i-calculate ha. Inertia is equivalent to also ito yung base na to, atong base ato no kay ang width, di ba? And yung height natin, it is the length. So siya ang ato ang i-cube guys, right? So ato ni cube no tapos over 12 na siya. Okay? So over 12 and this is equivalent to 4.89 m to the 4. All right? So that's our inertia there. And for the area, again, same lang gyapon ang iya ang value guys, okay? Inertia, area, tapos ang ato ang with that, ang kulang na lang nato no si y. So how do we solve for the y? And knowing that naka-incline na siya, we know the formula, di ba? HCG over sine theta. All right? Oy, wala pa dito HCG di ay. Asa man to tong HCG? Mo ni siya. Ako lang ni siyang kopyaw na because this is actually the value of the HCG. Ako lang ni siyang imbutang din mo. So with that one, that is your HCG. This is from the formula. Ako lang gini-emphasize guys that this is from the formula HCG over sine. This is theta. Okay? So, amo na siya. So with that one, ma-solve na to ang distance y, that is 6.81. So okay na ta. Nanatay distance y, nanatay I, A, and then the y. So we can now calculate our eccentricity. So that would be inertia over area times the barred y ha. And that is equivalent to 0.16 meters. Okay? So balik ko na to. Kung sa kito kinanglan para ma-solve na to ang distance yp, is the eccentricity. Why? Because we have already calculated for the distance length na to guys. Okay? So for the distance yp, muna ni siya. Distance yp is equivalent to, ako na lang ito kopyaw, no? Okay, na-declare naman. Alright? So length, no, half of the 3.66 na siya. Divide 2 minus the eccentricity, you'll have the distance yp there. Okay? So, balik ta sa kuan. Nanata distance yp. We have already the force. We can now calculate the reaction at A. So, I'm just gonna copy this one para dili ko masigig scroll up, no? So, muna sa ato ang equation, no? Summation of moments. But take note that we are just after with the reaction, ha? Mauni siya. Right? Kani? And then this one. Nakopy man si RA. Muna nakuha. Okay. So we will have now our reaction sa A. And that is 136.09 kilonewtons na siya. Okay. So reaction at A, no? Next. Ang susunod. The reaction at B. Okay. Now, ang reaction at B, guys, okay, ang reaction sa B, no? Kung saan na to, pwede ta mo ingon, summation gyapon sir, yes, pwede gyud. Okay, mana ko summation of forces vertical. Are ko start ko ni summation of forces vertical pwede no, summation of forces vertical kay mas dali man ni siya. Is equivalent to 0 Alright? Ako lang i-note good, no? We are after with the BX. Right? The BY. Muna itong gusto makuha. Okay? We're after with the BY, no? So with that, Kereta. Forces going up, the By, mora na siya, no? Is equivalent to the force going down, which is kana lang, kato resultant force, but it is projected kay, kuan man siya, no? We know that the inclination here, by geometry, if this is theta, this must be theta, so that we're gonna consider cosine. Cosine ta. And then that is our theta. Okay, so in this particular equation, walay problema. Ano man, we have already calculated for the force. No, ang force na to kaning 179.88 kilonewtons. And we have already the value of theta. So therefore, ang By na to is equivalent to F times the cosine of theta. And that is in kilonewtons, 143. Na 143.66 kilonewtons. That is the By. Next, how about this? How about the Bx? Unsa man nato pag-solve ang Bx? Simple ra kayong Bx by. Mao gyapon. Summation gyapon ta, and take note that we are after with the Bx, ha? Right? And this is now Fx of the F horizontal. Okay? And that is equivalent to 0. So in our equation, it will be what? Bx, na? Bx na siya, papunta sa right, no? Plus, di ba? Plus times the sine of theta. This is equivalent to RA. And if you look at this one, all we have to do is actually rearrange, di ba? We'll be able to calculate now the value of our Bx. Na? Ang Bx, actually transpose si kung ano, Fx, no? So, RA minus the F times the sine of theta. And the Bx here, is equivalent to this value. But we're not done yet. Diba? Kay reaction man daw sa B. So, ultimately, ang reaction day sa B is equivalent to Bx squared, na? Plus the By squared. And with that, we'll be able to get this reaction. Wala sir, taas-taas lagi siya. Yes, taas-taas gid siya. Ano man, we are actually combining now na the knowledge that we have learned, no, sa statics. Kay statics mangyapon ni siya. Mabitang gitawag ni siya fluid mechanics, di ba? Unsa ra may nakapa-fluid ani? Ang nakapa-fluid ra gid ani bay is the involvement of the liquid. Mao ra gid ni siya. But kung imo gini sa uno pag maayo, this is actually statics ni siya. And even gani ang pag-derive ani eccentricity is actually mathematics. Di ba? Alright? So, any questions, guys? Questions, sir? Any questions? Hello? Okay lang? Hello guys. Okay pa?
Okay ra, sir.
Alright. Okay raman din. So, mura magningang nga na nun. Okay. So, yeah, this is the solution, ha? So, simple lang ni siya. By the way, no, mao ni sa atong buhaton. Okay. Ang formative, ang formative, I'll be giving you assignments, practice questions, no? And, yeah, ang formative na to kay maghatag pod ko ninyo examination. Okay, live ang atong examination na ni, ha? Sir, kung ang internet, sir, kay kuhan, guba. Please tell, kuhan lang. Anyway, ma-record ako. And then, if mao na yung rason, then I'll consider, no, because this time, no, karong nga panahon, no, abnormal gid karon ng mga ang panahon. So, musabot lagi ko ninyo, guys. Okay? Any questions so far? Clarifications, no?
Sir, ang kaning kuan, sir, wa?
Ah,
Ang kaning bitong H bitaw sir nya kaning barwise sir. Pwede mo na siya drawing on sir sa kay nakakuha na kag tangent sir nya ang problema na lang kay ang pag-correlate niya sa kuan sa bar Y ug sa bar H.
ah, pwede ra. Pwede ra gyud. Kay actually kung mayong kag geometry, sakto to na. Kung mayong kag geometry, daghan go pamagi. There pwede ka mo go through. Akong gibasihan na to kay kanira man si 5.2 niya ni dito ra ko dinhi. Kana ay basta geometry, basta within the rules kasi geometry, walay kaso. Okay? So kana lang. Uh, practice ta ha. Okay, practice solving this one daw, be. Arita sa sayop ni. Sige, I want you to solve this one daw. Sige. And kung kinsay makasolve ni na ay kuan, so gani plus 25 points sa ato ang quiz. O, pasar na ka. 25 points kung makasolve ka ni. This is actually past board examination niya. Kung namoy reference din na, kamo na bahala. Sige, I'll give you 10 minutes like you to solve this one. Sige, go. Ang makasolve ni ha? Anyway, i-chat lang inyong answer. Basta videohi po din yung solution na bantay lagi. Basta mo chat ra pod mo sa yung correct answer. Ah, sige, I didn't carry siya na to solve. Plus 25 points sa ato ang first quiz this Friday. By the way, Monday, Wednesday, no? Kay Monday, Wednesday, magkuanta, discuss. Tapos Friday, kay mag-quiz ta. Ha? Amo na to ang kuan. All right. What's your answer? Nay naka-answer? Nay naka-answer? Sige. Anyone? Ha? May answer? Okay. Napa mo? Napa?
Okay nag-answer, sir.
Wala nag-answer di ay kasi may pagbato na lang itong i-discuss, no?
Walay nag-answer.
Anyway. Okay, sige na lang. Arita. So, ang saya nga itong buhatan na ni. Awa may mga calculator kung noon sa mga klase wala kalkyo.
Di sir, 50 mil ang nakalculate. Kapin.
Ay, grabe. Anyway, so, ang question na nino kay, sa to pull na kung ano, dali rin kayo ni Bay. Okay? Ang una ni mo yung account na is the forces. So, kana ang weight sa kuan, ang weight sa gate, tapos ang pag-pull niya, di ba? Pataas, P. But take note that i-mention niya dito nga ang friction, di ba? So, na kay frictional force. Sumabot rin si frictional force. So, basically, if you are to calculate the force P, okay, you're gonna do what? Summation of forces vertical. Sakto, di ba? Summation of forces vertical is equivalent to 0. But take note, di ba naman kay value ni weight? But you don't have the value of the frictional force. But remember that the formula of the frictional force is mu times the normal force. So you see, di ba, these are basic formulas, but if you have forgotten these formulas, na medyo lisod gid sa ikuan, di ba? So, and since we are dealing with normal force, so may normal niya din sa kanina plane. We understand that ang normal niya is the plane surface, katong force kani siya. Diba? And of course, with that, we are going to utilize the formula PCG times the area because that is the only way na makalculate na to ang force din ha. Sakto, diba? Alright? So, the first thing that we're gonna do is to do this one, summation of forces y is equivalent to 0. Then, muna kong gingon, P is equivalent to weight plus the frictional force. And we know that the frictional force is mu unit weight times the normal force. And the normal force is the force here. And the force here, we know that is PCG times the area. Diba? So, ang una na itong buhaton, okay, mo-calculate para makuha na to si normal force. Diba? I-declare sa nato ni si PCG times the area. So, unit weight of water, that's 9.81. The 1.5 here, that is the that is the distance there, plus half of the gate there, muna sa 7/2. And kanisa nga particular na kuan is 7 times 5, sakto na? 7 times 5, that is 35. And makuha na nimo ang force. And kanisa nga force, imo ni siyang i-substitute din sa normal force. Ito balik no? Ito normal force para ma-multiply nato siya sa mu, then we can get the frictional force. And once we can get the frictional force, okay, balik ta din sa atong main formula, ato lang iadag katong 2,000 tapos frictional force. Then there we have it, no? That is our norm. That is the force to solve. That is the force, no, to lift the gate. So guys, kanila no encouragement lang ba? Kabalo man gid kuno nga sa karong panahon ba nga I don't know with you guys, but the mood is laay itoon, laay is study. But some of you know are some kay kana energetic gyapon because with the current situation no nga online lagi no kay kuan no para pud natay para to give something kanang gibug-aton gani sa atong online class nato no is we need to be serious, okay? Unsa may serious, unsa man pamagi sa serious. Atong buhaton na kay mo set up ta sa ato ang place nga di na gito maminaw. Uy kani particular place murag disiplinado ba nga dili kay mayon nga magtan-aw lang ko sa sala, maghigda ko sa sala, maghigda ko dinhi minaw lang ko. No, you know what guys, you're just watching movie and take note that this is not movie. Wala man taga tanaw diri ka ng Netflix, wala man taga wala man taga kwadra ga YouTube, di ba? We're actually attending a class. And now, with that one, in that manner, no, maano datong self ba, uy, klase din ni nato, no? At least ba, hinahinay nga na-adapt ta din ni. And take note that, sa kanisa nga setup, no, kinanglan gyud nga maka-adapt ta. Otherwise, no, murag ulay pulos ang ato ang pag-eskwela nga nag-online ta, di ba? Ulay pulos ang inyo ang pag-enroll, ulay pulos ang inyong pag-join ani. So I hope no sa kaninga bisag so short time lang nga atong kuan ang discussion di mo ginato ma-accommodate gyud within 1 hour no kaninga topics no because kani siya nga mga topics bugat akuan mo gini siya dapat i-explain gid siya very well. Okay, so what I want you to do guys no is to be disciplined sa inyo ko ano and also nga ang sa gani kanang be attentive also. All right? So at least man lamang uy kanang kuan ba murag nagyapon sa klase na to. Okay? So with that one, anyway, this is recorded. Pwede gyud ninyo ma-tan-aw no. Ako lang ni say post sa ato ang binhi. Okay? Sa ato ang group. All right? So yeah, so that is it no for tonight. Alas 8 no. Dali or giguras 1 hour more to 1 hour nga 1 hour one problem. Di ba? But sige lang. So, kung wala na may questions, okay na ta? Hello? Napumuli ha?
Sir.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you.
Alright.
Ang
So,
friction problema.
lagi. So, I totally understand no. Okay, nganong ga Microsoft Teams ta kay mao man gud ni sa ang sa to gani. Mao man gud ni sa ang sa Brightspace niya, isa po ni sa inyo ang gibayaran. Kay premium good ni siya. Premium good ni siya. Anyway, so I think that is it no for this evening no. Anyway, this is recorded so you can just refer. Okay? So ang quiz, mo announce lang ko kung unsa nga part, ha? So study gid taon mo. All right? So please stay safe and good night everyone. Bye-bye. Bye ninyo.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Friday, sir.
Bye, sir.
Mag-quiz ika Friday, sir.
Quiz ko.
Ika
Very,
Friday.
very simple. Simple ra gyud akong i-quiz. Simple ra gyud. Di ko magpalisod-lisod. Pero study kita mo ha. Alright.